Hi, welcome to this free little tester podcast. Another one, just out of the goodness of our hearts. Do you know what I mean?
Guys, we're good guys.
Just free. Just listen to that, enjoy it. With me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Hello there.
And of course, Carl Pilkington. We've just recorded the first of our new series of audiobooks, which will be a guide to a plethora of academic subjects. The first one was on medicine, which is fantastic, so look forward to that in 2009. But what about a free sample first, Steve?
By all means, yeah, people can get a sense of exactly what they can expect.
Of course, what can we look forward to in the new audiobook series? We've done medicine, that's safe, that's kicking.
What other subjects would you like to cover?
I'd like to do natural history.
Yeah, natural history is good.
We were talking the other day. Carl is fascinated by that quote I once told him that Wittgenstein said, if a lion could speak English you wouldn't be able to understand it because your cultural references would be so different. And as you know, Carl couldn't get it. He'd be going, well, I think I would understand a lion. He was going, I know what sort of day it's had. What did you mean by that?
I just mean, of all the things that are out there, I kind of know what a lion gets up to. Yeah, but so I wouldn't be shocked when he told me.
No, it's so different.
No, it's not. Not when you think about, say, like a worm.
Yeah.
I'd go on, tell me again, what have you been up to?
Yeah.
Because it's so weird. Yeah. It's so different. But a lion, I know, most of he's going to say, he's been hunting again.
Yeah, but he's not going to say, I've been hunting again. Yeah.
Well, what do you mean?
But no, it's not about that. It's like you can't understand really well-educated people using different words and culture. It's sort of like people are different enough. You don't quite understand what they're talking about.
But you do. You always do. Even in tribes, I've watched programs about tribes, and I don't know what they're doing.
But I think
we're people.
Can I suggest? I think the problem Carl's having is when he imagines this talking lion, he's thinking of the Lion King.
Yeah.
Where essentially those lions are just humans acting like humans act.
What's the worst animal that if it could talk, you'd be scared of? If a spider came up to you and went, Carl, I'm gonna fucking bite you.
That wouldn't really bother me.
No. What about an alligator going, Carl?
Crocodiles and owls.
Crocodiles now. So if a crocodile you went out, right? You open the bedroom door and there's a crocodile and he's broken in, and you go, oh, and he goes, yeah, I'd if I was you, because I'm gonna fucking crunch through your head and then I'm gonna swallow you. I'm gonna drag you under in my larder, right, and till you soften, and I'm gonna rip your limbs off by twisting in the water. How would you like that, you round-headed little fucker?
I'd just shut the door.
Well, no, don't shut the door, mate, because that'll just make me angrier. So
not bothered.
Well,
shouldn't even be in here.
What?
Shouldn't even be in here.
No, but why don't you go, alright, let's talk about this?
No, I wouldn't talk about it because there's no reasoning with him.
Why?
He's a lunatic.
And what's an owl going to say to you that'll freak you out?
It's just more of a shock. There's something weird about that. I could imagine him sort of. It's that look, it's the same sort of thing as the fella out of the Sparks. That sort of head turn.
Yeah.
And I can imagine it doing that and then sort of going.
Do you know why they turn their head?
Well, just to look around.
Yeah, because they can't move their eyes in their head. They're so big, the eyes take up the whole skull, and they can't move them within in the skull, so they have to move their head.
Why are you looking at me?
So I hope you enjoyed that little free.
I thought they would have.
Free test, isn't it?
It was free.
It's free, and a little just a little sample there.
Yeah, don't complain if it's free.
No,
just enjoy it.
No. Little bonus material, a little a snippet.
Are they complaining because it's free?
No, they are.
Well, that just seems unfair.
Fuck them. If they are complaining, fuck them.
Well, it's not fair because it's fucking free.
Fuck them. But if you have enjoyed this, then download the full unexpurgated 50-minute version of a Ricky Gervais Guide to Medicine.
How can people get hold of that?
They just download it on iTunes. You can't argue with a quid or so, can you?
No.
You know what I mean? And that's available New Year's Eve.
Can you get it anywhere else?
Audible.co.uk.
Oh.
Well, everyone's getting excited, Steve, because coming soon is the second in the series of Ricky Gervais Guide To, and it's natural history.
Natural history is a big topic, Rick.
It is a big topic, but I think we proved we were up to the task. We just recorded it. It's great. It's a wonderful guide to anyone.
I should just make it clear in case people are worried about what your credentials are. Of course, you've been a big fan and you've studied natural history for many, many, many years.
Yeah, it was my first love, science and natural history from an early age, 4, 5, 6. I did biology, chemistry and physics at A-level, and I actually went to university to study biology, and I gave up after 2 weeks because it was too many lectures, and I swapped to philosophy, which was 7 hours a week.
I shall, in hope, be arbitrating the conversation between yourself, a man who, by his own admission, knows a lot about the subject. Who else will you be talking with?
I'll be talking to you, Stephen, and Carl Pilkington, who is our ace in the hole, really, because a lot of people, they're professors, they've studied this, they've studied apes. We've got an ape.
Yeah, it's essentially the words, straight from the donkey's mouth, as it were.
I know, he's definitely more of a donkey. Yeah. Testing. Hello. Here we are again with another free podcast to inform the lovely people of the world about our upcoming audiobook, The Ricky Gervais Guide to the Arts. Now, we cover everything in this episode to do with art, from Da Vinci through to everyday people just, brightening up their lives.
Yeah,
putting up a picture of something. Talking of which, walking here today.
Yeah.
And in the street was one of those security vans, one of those big armoured security vans, and it was parked outside a bank. I think people must have been in there getting the money because it was empty, but I could see through past the driver's seat, and they'd left the door to the sort of the cage open at the back,
right,
the big secure and on the wall was a nudie picture
from a porn magazine.
Yeah, just put up there.
Right.
Now, so there's a bloke driving, and the bloke in the back goes, "Reg, keep a lookout for Anyway, he goes, "What, you think we're going to get hit?" He goes, No, I'm just going to have a quick wank." What? Just going to have a quick wank, it gets lonely in the back with all this money. Well, don't wank when we're what? Well, what if we're robbed now? Well, I'll stop wanking if the robbers come in. But at the moment, I'm looking at a nude lane, having a little wank at work.
I'm going to spread some of the money around, like I'm making love to her on a bed, covering the money like I've just done a heist.
Not when I'm driving.
I got it, mate. I got to express it into my trousers.
Why can't you have a wank at home? Not allowed to wank at home. I said, if you're going to wank at work.
The wife actually gave me the picture.
It's ridiculous.
What with those pictures? Do people, because you see them in garages and workshops and that, are they constantly turned on by that picture every time they see it, or do you just become sort of dulled to it after a while? You first put up, you think, cracking knockers and a minge there, and then like 3 weeks later, you're like, same old knockers, same old minge. I mean, do people have to constantly update those pictures?
But what are they putting it up on the wall for? Because that's for all to see. It's not like keep it in your wallet.
Yeah.
Keep it in your wallet and open up. I need to see some tits and a minge. Open your wallet.
Maybe they've proven that actually when people do hold up those security vans in a heist, a lot of robbers, 99% of robbers, are put off because th'll see a beautiful woman, instantly start having a wank themselves. They'll put a shotgun down.
They've been hit before and they go, "Where's the money?" They go, "There, where's the knockers?" "I haven't got any knockers." "You haven't got any fucking knockers?" "Next time, make sure there's a fucking knockers." "Why?" "I need a wank. I'm fucking burgling all day. I need a fucking wank."
But yeah, I mean, it's as legitimate a form of art as Michelangelo or...
Yeah, him on his back doing the Sistine Chapel all the time, doing those lovely fucking,
Or her on her back with her legs akimbo having her fucking photo taken. It's art.
It's, one of the things we do discuss in this audiobook is the merit of putting paintings up on your wall to brighten up your life. Carl rules that out. Not only is he artless and stupid and doesn't really understand the point of any art form, but he's, as you know, got a mirrored wall. And in this clip, we're discussing his life at home with that mirrored wall. So that was the clip from the Ricky Gervais Guide to the Arts, featuring myself, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant,
hello,
and of course Carl Pilkington.
Right.
Carl's just come back from holiday in St Lucia, 11 days on the beach. Now, he's looking healthy, but he's chubbed up a little bit, hasn't he?
Yeah, hasn't he?
He's been having some lovely food, I think, and he's just slightly rounder. He's red where he's been out in the sun,
yeah.
And dare I say it, he looks like a fucking Edam.
An Edam cheese?
Yes, a roundy, red, waxy lump of Edam cheese.
It's got a head like a fucking Edam.
How was your holiday, Carl?
Yeah, it's alright, yeah. Not bad.
Yeah?
I mean, I've been there before. It's nice.
Yeah.
Got bitten quite a lot by mosquitoes, fleas, ants.
Right.
Big ants over there.
You were in a hotel, you weren't squatting?
No, it's in a hotel, but it's just part of their thing, innit? They have them over there. It's just like having a fly in your house. Just normal. So when you report it, they sort of like, what do you expect?
Who are you reporting it to, the police?
No, just the reception. I've said, I've got fleas in my room. Is that normal? I said, yeah. So there's no point in moving.
That was
room.
definitely someone who worked in the hotel, that wasn't just a caretaker.
No, the woman on reception, she just said it's just the way it is out here. Get used to it.
Get used to it.
It's weird, because you don't say it in the brochure before you've paid the £1,500.
Fuck me, what a boring fucking anecdote this. Fucking Alan Wicker's safe. You've been on holiday to a different country for 11 days and you've got fuck all to say except I saw a flea. Brilliant.
I don't think he even saw the flea. He only knows there was fleas because he got bit and he's presuming there's fleas.
Fucking hell.
Saw a little frog. Smallest thing I've ever seen.
The smallest thing you've ever seen?
Frog-wise.
Smaller than the flea, which was weird.
Frog-wise! Frog-wise! The smallest thing I've ever seen, frog-wise!
So small that I thought it was a spider. I went to get a glass, went to put the glass on it, it riveted.
It riveted.
It riveted!
But you gestured.
This is one thing that me and Steve aren't at the moment, is fucking riveted. Jesus Christ, what a boring cunt you are.
We should clarify that as he said it riveted, he gestured as with his thumb, as in to suggest it hopped away.
Yeah.
So is that when they hop away, they're riveting away, are they?
What do you
the frog?
No. So what did it do? Tell what it did.
It does the thing that a frog does.
What?
Hot jumps.
Oh, so it riveted. Yeah.
It riveted away.
Do you know why it's called ribbit? It's an onomatopoeic word. Do you know what an onomatopoeic word is?
It's the thing when it does what it sounds like.
Yeah. So what does ribbit sound like?
Yeah, alright. When it's doing its sound then.
Well, it didn't, though, did it? It hopped away.
It did that as well.
No, it didn't.
Noise as well as it jumped.
No, it didn't.
It landed, it made the noise.
No, it did not. You just made that up. You thought ribbit meant hop.
Well, anyway, I'm just saying it's the smallest one I've seen.
Frog-wise?
Yeah.
Brilliant. An in-depth travelogue there of Carl Pilkington's holiday for free. But don't forget to buy the Ricky Gervais Guide to the Arts, coming soon.
Too much swearing?
No. Fuck 'em. Hello, welcome to this free podcast to promote our upcoming audiobook, The Ricky Gervais Guide to Philosophy, with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Hello there.
And Carl Pilkington.
Alright.
Well, we covered most things, didn't we, on the Guide to Philosophy? The big questions, mind-body problem, meaning of life, got quite existential at one point, and we touched on the futility of life, Carl's favourite subject at the moment. Carl used a lovely model, an anecdote, a story. Listen, that was Carl Pilkington's guide to the pointlessness of existence through the eyes of a lonely homecoming ant. If you've enjoyed that, there's another 50-odd minutes to listen to on the Ricky Gervais Guide to Philosophy. Just go to iTunes now and download it. What do you think, Carl?
What about philosophy?
Yeah. Now, have you learned anything from doing that? Did you learn anything? Or do you think life is more pointless?
I don't think you can learn philosophy, can you? It's just something for your brain to be getting on with. Like
Sudoku or watching a fish tank.
That seems to be what the world is now, isn't it? Killing time. The amount of things that have been invented. Sudoku. There's another one. Karako or something. Just loads of them for people to be sat there. Don't know. It's just all stuff that's been invented. Because the country's on its arse and everyone's like stuck on bad train services and buses and that. To stop and moaning, do a Sudoku. It's all stuff to keep the brain busy. None of it's necessary. I don't know why you get papers who the next day put the answers for a Sudoku in the paper. Because I don't think there's anyone going, oh, where did that 9 go? I think it's of the moment. It's not like a crossword where you go, what was that word? Where does the 9 go? It's not important. The moment's gone. And that's what the world is now. A lot of time filling. It's one big waiting room, the world.
That is, well, yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, well, we're stuck here for 80-odd years. We don't know. Yeah, how do you fit it? How do you enjoy it? I mean, we touch on this, but when there is no point to life, then the only raison d'etre is to live your life, have a laugh, and not hurt anyone. I don't know what you think, that what we're meant to be doing. We can't all be saving lives all the time. We can't all be fighting wars. We can't always be at peace. We can't all be great inventors and scholars. So, yeah, some people go, I want to be content. I want to be content. I like the contentness. No, you don't. What are you on about? You're never happy unless you're moaning. I've never seen you happy. But maybe that is me being happy, having a moan. You see, my problem is the thoughts. How do you control them?
Right, that sounds like the ramblings of a schizophrenic madman.
No, because the thing is, it's my brain that likes to have a moan. So because of that, I'm tarred with that brush.
I don't know what, it's so complicated.
It's not complicated.
This is quite a big metaphysical idea, actually, that you're exploring here.
Yeah, well, that's...
It's like you have two minds. It's like you're the face for your brain. Yeah, but you're taking the rap for stupid things it put into your head, which is like another brain.
I had a good thought about my thoughts yesterday. They've gone today. I explained it more to Suzanne, my problem with thoughts. And the problem is with a thought... Did
she glaze over?
If you want to get rid of
it... just fall straight back onto her head?
No, but if you want to get rid of a thought, you can't, can you? Because you've thought it. And the thought thing that came up with the thought doesn't let you forget that thought.
Well, you forgot it.
Yeah, when you want to remember something that is useful to you, like, I need to buy some kidney beans, the thought area doesn't remember it. It's not interested in that. It's interested about something weirder or something that scared you. It remembers that stuff. So you're not really in charge, are you?
You're certainly not.
The thought area kicks in when there's nothing else going on normally.
I don't know what it means anymore.
Okay, can we just go silent for a moment? I want the thought area to kick in. Can I get in touch with the thought area, Carl? Is it possible to speak to the thought area?
Just relax.
When he's ready.
Empty your mind. You don't need to say that. Let's take that as read. Carl, in a minute, I want you to unempty your mind and have a thought.
What do you want the thought about?
Well, no, I know. I want it to... What are you thinking of right now?
I am not thinking of anything. So tell me something to think about.
No, please, can I... You've attempted to conduct this experiment, Rick. It hasn't what worked. Okay, can we just have a bit of silence, please?
Right, Carl, you've got to have a thought.
Rick, please be quiet. Gervais, shut up. Gervais, shut up.
Let me said to you, the thoughts come when they want to come.
Okay, shut up. Everyone shut up. Let's have some silence. And then when the thought comes...
Can I just say something quietly, Steve?
No, you can't.
He's the only human being on Earth that... I mean, it's been scientific proven you can't catch yourself not thinking, and he's disproved that theory.
What do you want the thoughts to be about?
But what are you thinking now?
Ricky, this is not fair. I want to conduct an interesting experiment here for our...
Explain to him that it's not to do with him contriving a thought.
It's what I'm going to explain.
I think this is the world's problem.
Carl, I want you to just sit there in that chair. We're going to be quiet. Do not think about anything. Do not try and focus on any subject. Just think about nothing. And we'll find out what you're thinking about. Because you're saying that these thoughts will just pop into your head, so we're going to find out what they are.
Okay.
In your own time, tell us what you're thinking about.
See, there's nothing happening here. There's nothing happening. There's You've got to give the thought something to think about.
Carl, what do you mean? You must be thinking about something now. I'd say, now what's thought? You know, is there a llama popped in there? Or is there a railway?
No, there has. That's the way it works.
So, if you would like to hear more of our musings on the weighty subject of philosophy, you can download the Ricky Gervais Guide to Philosophy from iTunes.
March 17th, it's out if you want it. Alright.
Thanks for listening.
Hello, I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Stephen Merchant.
Hello.
And Carl Pilkington.
Alright.
Welcome to this free sample of our audiobook, Ricky Gervais Guide to the English. We've just recorded that, and that's out especially for St George's Day. A day that's really forgotten in England. It's St Patrick's Day, everyone knows that. 17th of March, people drink and be merry. Andrew's Day, St David's Day. But St George's Day, it's almost like we're embarrassed about having St George's Day, aren't we? Like it's almost like we're ashamed of being proud of being English, Carl. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't celebrate it.
No.
Whenever you see the sort of that English flag, it's normally associated with some nutter.
Well, the problem is that it's linked to jingoism, isn't it? And it doesn't have to be, because I'm not suggesting that on St George's Day everyone paints a red cross on their face, goes out and gets drunk, gets into a fight and sings England into the early hours, but there's loads of ways you could celebrate being English. You could go and buy an Elgar CD, or you could just go for a walk.
I'd like to see a bunch of football hooligans, just one of them goes, lads, stop glassing that bloke over there. Let's pop down and get some Elgar.
But why does it have to be to do with football hooliganism? That's not what being British is.
That's one of the ugly things, isn't it? It's been co-opted by the hooligans, by the racists.
Yeah.
Let's bring it back. Let's take it back, Rick.
Yeah. Patriotism has nothing to do with jingoism. Think how many great things England has given the world.
Great people.
The great people. That's it. The Great Britons. Let's look at the Great Britons, not the idiots.
Can I nominate Shakespeare, please?
Shakespeare. Newton. Isn't Bard Kingdom Brew now?
Mr. Winston Churchill.
Mr. Winston Churchill.
Mr. Charles Dickens.
You know what I mean?
Queen Elizabeth I.
Look, the kings and queens that used to go into battle.
They're all old, though. Everyone you've been talking about.
Well, they're all
old.
dead.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why aren't you saying...
want recent ones?
Well, yeah.
David Beckham.
Not the same, though, is it?
No, it's not the same. I think Steve was being a little bit flippant there.
One thing I do like is when the likes of David Beckham and the gang are playing, the England football team are perhaps in Europe or the World Cup, that's when you see the St George's flag up, and there's no jingoism involved there. It's good old, the Sun reprints it in the middle pages. You can tear that out and put it in your window, which is the St George's flag, slightly ruined by the small logo that says The Sun on it. Great, that is lovely. People get right behind England, don't they, then?
Yeah, but they're the nutters, aren't they? That's
they're
what
not,
I'm saying
the
to you.
whole nation does.
They are. They're the ones who leave it in the window. That's the only reason they've got a flag in the window is they're the curtains in their house. And they stay up. They never close that window. No matter what the weather's like, you see it blowing outside the window. They're not worried about the heating because they never pay the bills. That's how I think about it. Nutters.
It is frightening when you go through an estate and it's like 30 satellite dishes and 12 flags and a couple of pit bulls tied up the fence, and you think, keep driving, do not break down here, do not break down here, have you put enough petrol in this car?
But I don't know who
well, who would you nominate as one of the great Englishmen or Englishwomen of the current age?
Do you know what? It'd be someone who you don't even know.
Yeah.
Well, okay, nominate them then.
Well, I don't know them. But what I'm saying is, it'll be someone like a surgeon or a doctor. Just anyone who's, busy saving lives, never gets a look in, never hear about him. They're the people who are doing the good stuff.
Yeah.
Not your... I mean, Darwin,
I think it's out of him and Churchill for my favourite Englishman.
But why? Why? What's he done, really? Churchill's fine. If it weren't for him, I'd be speaking German. I've said it before. But Darwin, I'd still be here. It doesn't change anything. If nobody had said that before, and they said it today, you'd probably go, look at him, what an idiot Darwin is. He's saying that we came from apes.
No, I wouldn't, because I'd look at the evidence.
No, you wouldn't. Everybody slagged him off back then. He said at one point that he wishes he kept his mouth shut. He said, I wish I hadn't said it. He said, there's certain things you think and you shouldn't say it out loud because people have a go at you.
That's a feeling you must have daily.
I've done that. I've put stuff in my books and I've gone, that's it now, that's there forever.
Like what?
The theory about the brain, about how it came about.
Well, what was that theory?
I did, just had a thought, just like Darwin did. He sort of, looked at the evidence and thought, how can this have happened?
Right.
He went the animal route. I went the route of it could have been, the brain could have been from another planet.
Okay, absolute bollocks then. So you didn't
the brain could have been from another planet.
There you go. You're jumping in.
What? So an alien gave it to us?
Well, the brain is the alien. So our brains are the aliens on this planet.
What difference does that make? How is that a theory? So what did we, how did we evolve before the alien came down? We were just walking around bumping into shit where we going, I need a brain! I wish I had a brain!
It would have been like that. We would have been like a chimp. The chimps were still involved.
Well, they've got brains.
They're not as brainy as us, are they? There's a planet with a load of brains on it.
Oh, just brains.
They're floating around.
So no gravity?
There's no gravity.
Why don't they just float off completely then? Why are they on a planet?
Because it's like one of them balloons, a helium balloon. They only go so high. And then it stops. There's a limit. So they're all floating about
this seems like unnecessary information. The key thing is there's brains floating around.
But how are they surviving on this planet, Carl? I'm just testing your theory.
Right, what are you worried about? What do you mean surviving? What do they need? It's a brain.
What do you mean? The brain needs all the things that all life needs. Oxygen. It's got no atmosphere. It's dead straight away. I don't know where it came from. So that's it. It needs water. It needs nutrients.
Not everything's like that.
It needs energy.
Not everything's like that.
Well, it is. The brain is like that.
So anyway, this is the theory. Pretend I'm giving. I'm at.
It's like talking to fucking Clunk.
His brain's floated off again.
You'd be better off with a helium balloon.
I'm at a university.
Right.
Let him do his lecture, and then you can ask questions at the end.
Okay.
Right. Welcome everyone. I'm here to talk about how the brain came about. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Professor Pilkington.
Right. This is what I propose. I'm not going to go on long-winded about it. I want to jump to the meat of it.
Right.
Darwin said the brain evolved. That's fine. Let him have his say. Right? We all know his story. Let's not harp on about what he said.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is they could have been, and they may still be, a planet with just brains on it.
Right. Yes.
Right, now that's good that you're laughing, because I'd say, right, I've got them now, they're on my side, they're all listening to me, they're sick of scientists coming in with all big long words and stuff. Right, so there's a planet with the brains on. Now, they did alright for a while, they were up there, all they were doing all day is thinking. They had nothing else to do.
Sure.
Right.
They did a lot of thinking.
Floating around, bumping into each other.
But there's only so far you can go with thinking.
Yep.
So then,
Amazing quote.
they thought about how to get to this planet. They worked it out.
Planet?
A few of them. Earth.
Can I just ask one question?
It lands.
How
no,
could
not
they
yet.
see? How could they see?
Don't worry about that yet.
No eyes.
Things happen. Well, there's moths without eyes.
Yeah,
they get on fine.
But they don't think of other planets.
So the brain comes to planet Earth. When it gets there, thud, lands on the floor.
Right. Because of gravity.
Yeah. The brain ended up getting on the floor. Into the monkey's head. And from there, that's when it's evolved. Okay. Well, we don't know. There's a lot of things we don't know.
Well, yeah, but I've got to ask you questions, right? I can start one. Where did the brain? How did the brain come about on this planet? How did that evolve? Where did that come from?
Why is it that you accept that it could evolve on another planet, but not on this planet? Why is it? Why you're happy that it evolved on another planet, but then it had to make its way
maybe
through space?
But what I'm saying is the brainier ones might be from another planet.
Well, why?
Because there's no. It doesn't make sense. Your Darwins, Churchills maybe, or your Shakespeare's.
They've got alien brains.
They could have. They could have. The brighter people who you just go, I don't know how he ever thought of that. The people who have said things about, we're talking about DNA. There's no way that human brain would have ever come up with that.
It did.
No, but it just makes you wonder how they did. Well, Stephen Hawking, you see, that's almost like it's not his body. It's like this brain's come from somewhere, this, magnificent brain.
Right.
And it's just overpowered the rest of the body to the point that there's no energy for that rest of the body to do anything. And it just sits there with the brain throbbing, thinking of stuff. Not even worrying about this planet anymore, going on about the universe. Whoa, Stephen, come back. I'm not Stephen. I'm just a brain. And that's how I look at him. I can't imagine, and I'm not disrespecting the man, but I can't see a human being that intelligent.
And can I just remind you that Darwin's Theory of Evolution is available in the same bookshops as Carl Pilkington's book, which expands on this theory. That is democracy at work.
When brain come from planet Earth thud, creeping monkey. So please download the Ricky Gervais Guide to the English at iTunes, and of course our back catalogue. Yeah, and a big thank you to Positive Internet. Those guys make these little free podcasts possible.
Good guys.
So, thanks. That's goodbye from me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Goodbye. And
the little round-headed, shaven, alien-brained chimp that is Carl Pilkington.
Right.
Hello and welcome to this free podcast and exclusive clip of the upcoming audiobook, The Ricky Gervais Guide to Society. We chat about a load of things, don't we?
As always.
We cover the entire gamut of everything you could put under the umbrella term society and more. One thing we didn't talk about is specific demographics of society. One that is a concern for me. Teenager, Steve.
What worries you about the teenager? You're not buying into this tabloid scaremongering about hoodies and the like, are you? Don't buy into that, Rick, please, for God's sake.
Well, no, but I do sometimes think they're treating teenage crime incorrectly, because when you get a little brat, he's been allowed to do what he wants. It might not be his fault. He comes from a broken home. He gets caught. They stick an ASBO on him. They love that. That's a badge of honour.
Yeah, that's
an
true.
ASBO. That's like really cool. To have an ASBO, now they're super crim, but that's cool. They've got a tag. No, make it a little pink tag with Mummy's little bender on it. Okay, then they won't be so cool, will they? Instead of going to prison and coming out with a tattoo, knowing like Fingers Mulligan now and being really cool, right? The coolest bloke in the pub. Now what they do is like, right, we're on television, a live Saturday night television. You have your trousers pulled down and spanked by John Barrowman. Yeah. How's that?
They have to be part of the chorus line for Oliver.
Well, in this clip, we're talking about the importance of good parenting, whether that's biological or adoptive. Enjoy. So there's just a few minutes of drivel from the Ricky Gervais Guide to Society. You can get another 50 minutes of that standard chat. Yeah, I hope you all learned something. That's available from the 2nd of November. Hello and welcome to this free teaser podcast to promote the upcoming audiobook, The Ricky Gervais Guide to Law and Order. Packed full of interesting stuff. One big obvious thing we didn't do is discuss those sort of weird, foreign, unrepealed laws. I suppose it's sort of like a DJ staple thing to do,
but some of them are fascinating, and I was looking online to see if any of them were actually verifiable, because often you think they're sort of archaic laws that don't exist
well, some
anymore.
of them probably they were laws, but they don't count anymore anyway. They're funny because they were made 200 years ago. Like, you've got to practice archery if you're over 14 for an hour a day, and that is funny.
Yeah,
but it's not like it's a law that's around today that you could find a loophole in. It's like,
although they haven't been repealed, haven't they? Isn't that
well,
the
they
point?
haven't been repealed because there's no point. But
but isn't there something about you're allowed to shoot a Welshman with a bow and arrow in the city of Chester or somewhere between the hours of 5
I
and
really
10?
wouldn't advise it. I think that
it's law. It's law.
I wouldn't take that. Yeah,
it's law.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Well, the one that I found that it has been verified, which I think is quite extraordinary. I just want you to think, Rick, about the practicalities involved in this. In Bahrain, a male doctor may legally examine a woman's genitals, but is forbidden from looking directly at them during the examination. He may only see their reflection in a mirror.
That's like viewing an eclipse.
Yeah, or the Medusa.
It's not for his own safety. I assume it's for decency, is it?
But well, I guess it is. It's obviously something, as you say, to do. But what I find confusing is you'd have to hold the mirror, because I don't know if you've ever tried to say trim the back of your head, like if you've got a bit of loose stray hair in the back of your hair.
It's all backwards,
it's quite
isn't it?
It's very difficult backwards.
Yeah.
You've got to work backwards. Try and use scissors backwards is very strange. That must be very awkward.
Also,
there.
it must go. You've got a very small vagina. Do you go? No, it's twice as far away. Because of course, yeah. I just move the mirror closer. Well, no, you can't get your head in the way you need to. You need to.
Does he have to hold them? Does he have an assistant to hold the mirror? She can see her genitals and his face.
Depends what angle it's at. Maybe she gets a glimpse of him and he looks up at her and it's an awkward moment. And he goes, "Sorry about that." He goes, "Yeah, I caught you. I was looking at your vagina through the." No. I know you were looking at the vagina, but you looked at me, which was a little bit awkward. Why were you looking at my face? Sometimes I like to connect the face to the vagina on which I'm working.
I want for otherwise it's just a disembodied vagina, and that can be quite scary if you're looking at it for a long time.
Just look at the vagina.
Well, it can just start.
Okay, not directly. Just look in the. No, is that a shaving mirror? Because it looks very large now. Yeah, it is, because it helps.
It's got two sides to it.
Yeah.
One side it makes it... Whoa, that's that's like something from Star Wars.
Look in the smaller one.
That's creepy.
Turn it round. Okay. Thank you very
He's allowed
much.
to look... He can look round at her, presumably.
Yeah.
So he can look round, he can look at the boobs.
Yeah.
Face,
I'm
everything else.
going to look at your vagina now. We'll get the mirror then. There's an example of some of the drivel that you might hear, but here's an actual clip from the show. Enjoy. Well, we hope that little clip has enticed you to buy the entire show, which is available from the 1st of December. That's the Ricky Gervais Guide to Law and Order. Hello, and welcome to this free podcast promoting the new audiobook, The Ricky Gervais Guide to the Future, with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Hello.
And Carl Pilkington.
Right.
We've recorded the guide for your listening pleasure. Carl's musings on that topic and his predictions are, I think, some of the most ridiculous and pointless things he's ever said.
Yeah. Rick, you saying that obviously it's about the future, but perhaps we could pause for a second. The audiobook considers the future, but we've obviously known Carl for much of this decade. When we first met him, obviously I don't think either of us anticipated that we would be where we are today. How do you see the changing Carl? How has he grown in your mind?
It's interesting, isn't it, that over the last sort of 8 years that we've known Carl, and everything we've done together, from the podcast through to these guides, through to the animation, the topic that keeps coming back up is the quest for knowledge, the point of knowledge, nature versus nurture, the human mind, introspection, morality, all those things that are huge, massive conundrums and problems that philosophers and geniuses have pondered, and yet it's his favourite subject as well, which is ironic, because he knows nothing, but he's fascinated by that.
Yeah, but because you can't go wrong with it. There's not a yes-no answer, is there? You can say what you want.
What do you mean, though? Give me an example of a question we asked that you could be right whether you said yes or no.
Well, the future stuff, the stuff we've talked about the future.
Well, you can
be
wrong,
laugh at it.
You just don't know it. Do you mean if someone says, is the Mona Lisa a good or a bad piece of art, it doesn't matter what you say because it's opinion? Do you mean subjectivism, or do you mean...
No, because that's just taste anyway.
Well, I think there has got to be some sort of objectivism within art, really.
What do you mean?
Well, an expert said this is a good bottle of wine, this is a bad bottle of wine.
Yeah, but
he probably knows the good bottle of wine from the bad bottle of wine.
But I'm glad I'm not that person who likes the good wine, because it's just making their life difficult for them, because they can't enjoy the cheap stuff.
No, what
it's like I watch MasterChef. Do they ever have beans on toast and be happy with it?
No, but that's the different point. What I'm saying is,
if
you could... No, but a carpenter would know a good dovetail joint from a bad one, right? A doctor would know a good piece of stitching from a bad piece of stitching. So it might be the fact that because you deal with your taste buds and an aim, a paradigm of what excites them correctly, then you could tell a bottle that's turned within the last few hours, or a cheese that's not quite right.
So it's a hindrance.
But you might like bad wine.
No, it's not that I like bad wine, it's just that I can't tell the difference. So it's easy for me. I can enjoy... I'll have a nice drink and go, yeah, I enjoyed that. An expert will go, a little bit off.
Right.
So his night's been ruined.
Yes, but you have never said you enjoyed anything except munchies. So unless we're getting into munchy tasting...
But I have had munchies where the chocolate's gone a little bit off. It's like it's been melted and frozen again.
Right.
And I go, I'm not happy with these. But that's because I've had a lot of munchies.
Exactly!
Yeah.
Exactly!
So you're something of a munchy connoisseur.
Okay, and what did you thought? You opened them up, did you see the chocolate immediately?
I saw that it was a little bit white.
So you see, because you could have seen that immediately. To have someone had munchies before, they might go, that's alright. You go, whoa, I've seen a million munchies, and that one's slightly off.
I don't know, I prefer to give it to someone and say, what do you think of that?
What do you mean?
Well, let them have it and see if they enjoy it.
But you know it's an inferior munchie, why would you give that to someone else?
Because they'll get more out of it than me.
So what, you'd give someone an inferior munchie?
Yes.
Why?
Because they don't know the difference. It's like we could give all our bad food to some starving country.
But why would you do that? Why don't you give them good food?
Because we need the good food. Because we've got sort of fancier taste buds than them.
So you're saying there is a right and a wrong, and you know, to good and bad food. So you could say there is good and bad food. So you've put an objective view on taste. That was my initial point.
No, but that's my taste buds.
Yeah. But so you've got to taste every bit of food we send to Africa and go, don't send that one. That's the good one. That munch is a little bit white. Send it off. What are you saying?
I've already said what I'm saying. I said that at the end of the day, if you spoil yourself, you can't enjoy the simple things.
So what, never have something that's too good because there's no going back?
Have it as a special treat, but not every day.
Right.
The chefs on MasterChef, they're not enjoying a meal. They leave the food in the mouth far too long. They're tasting it for too long. Get it et. They study it too much. If you study anything for too long, you can put yourself off it.
Yeah.
So just have a look, have a taste.
But Carl, in the time that I've known you, I've tasted finer wines than I ever had when I was younger. I've eaten good food in good places, and I would like to think I could honestly say that I prefer the good food and the good wine. It's patently better. The flavours, the sensations are more exciting to the palate. They're more memorable. A good bottle of wine is infinitely more preferable than a cheap bottle of plonk from the supermarket.
Depends what you're used to.
It does depend on you, but actually, Steve's point, because we weren't brought up on that sort of food. I mean, I didn't go to a restaurant till I was 14. My older brother took us, and I think it was the first time my mum had been in a restaurant, right? And I've still got my quite simple plebeian sort of taste. I mean, I do love mature cheddar on beans on toast. You can't beat it. So it's harder for us to get over that. But someone who's only ever been given the best food, I mean, I don't know what they'd think of a bad meal.
But I mean, I come from a family where, you know, my father's rule with food tends to be more that, you know, it's all about quantity, not quality. You know, the more food you have on your plate is better. So when I was growing up, the height of sophistication in any restaurant was the mixed grill. Because the mixed grill was a number of meats, lightly grilled, seemingly with nothing else. Whatever meat you have out there, grill it, bring it out. And that was considered great and exciting because, you know, we didn't have all kinds of meats in our house every day, so that was something of a treat. But if I look back to those mixed grills, which at the time I enjoyed enormously, you know, they're not going to compare with eating, you know, the Fat Duck or a Gordon Ramsay restaurant, you know.
But then I think that's going it too far. I don't want it to be P.T. Barnum. I do want it to be good food that I enjoy and, you know, excite my taste buds and leave me full, dare I say it. But I don't need to do things that taste different in your nose and your eyes than it did on your tongue and your throat.
Yeah, but that's because you don't enjoy the sort of theatre of food.
I don't enjoy the theatre, no, that's true.
That's a kind of almost like a theatrical experience.
Yes, exactly, yeah. And I suppose that, I think when you go into it, you've got to know that it is actually something else. It isn't just a dining experience, it is something else.
Yeah, but I don't go out for that. If I go out for food, it's because I'm hungry. I don't want the chef cooking at the table. Don't want to see it. It's a night out. Why am I sat in the kitchen? Would you like to come and sit in the kitchen, have your meal, so you can see it cook? No. Where's it going to stop? Oh, let's see him wash up the plates after. It's mental. I think
chef's table is a bit weird. That's a bit intense. The table in the kitchen where you see everything.
No, because
again,
all the clattering and the noise and him shouting
exactly,
at people.
That's like being in the old small flat I had.
Yeah.
I want to get away from the kitchen, but I couldn't because it was next to the telly.
Also, if I look at a kitchen, I have to turn away in case they wipe their nose or I see a bit of sweat drip into the souffle. I mustn't look into a kitchen for too long because I will see something I don't like.
Yeah.
I will see someone not wash their hands enough, or anything can put me off.
Yeah.
Well, that was some bonus drivel there.
Tremendous drivel.
Let's have a clip from the actual audiobook, The Ricky Gervais Guide to the Future. Well, there you go. The Ricky Gervais Guide to the Future. Well, we hope you enjoy the future, whatever it holds for you.
We do.
Yeah. Goodbye from me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Yeah.
And a man, I use the term loosely, who hasn't changed and probably never will. Carl Pilkington.
All right.
Hello, and welcome to this free podcast to hopefully make you aware of the forthcoming audiobook, The Ricky Gervais Guide to the Human Body. I think we covered everything. I think we covered everything.
Yeah, it's pretty in depth, this one.
Yeah, usually I put a warning on some of these. They shouldn't be used as part of a thesis, but I'm pretty confident that this probably could help you pass a medical degree or biology degree.
Yes.
If you were to listen to this, I'd say 3 or 4 times, you probably are.
We're certainly halfway to being a doctor.
Halfway in the sense on the way to the surgery.
Yeah,
dribbling.
Particularly if you follow any of the procedures that we discuss.
Yeah,
because some of them are quite.
Wait, you're halfway on the way to the doctor with a very sore arse.
Exactly. Without wishing to give anything away, vis-a-vis what we discuss.
No,
but
we discussed the body and mind. You know, let's not disconnect the mind from the body.
Please don't.
And like Carl does, disconnects everything from everything else, like it's all functioning independently and having little arguments.
Yeah, like it's a Mr. Potato Head.
He has a few arguments in this one. We were discussing.
He has a few arguments with himself in this one.
Well, mainly he only has arguments with himself because we don't listen. We were discussing reminiscing, weren't we? You know, one of the useful upshots of the brain and existence, our time on this earth, is that we can look back at good times, and this is what Carl came up with. So, hope you enjoyed that little free taster, and we hope you download The Real Thing, the Ricky Gervais Guide to the Human Body. With me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Goodbye.
And Carl Pilkington.
All right.
Hello and welcome to this free podcast to promote the upcoming and possibly last ever Ricky Gervais Guide to the Earth. With me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Hello.
And Carl Pilkington.
All right.
Carl, we talked about everything. We've done it. We've probably even solved a few problems. Is there anything we didn't talk about, or did we cover everything and there's nothing left to talk about on this free podcast?
For the Earth?
Yeah. He was concentrating at least.
What can I tell you about the Earth?
This should be interesting.
Well, I suppose the environment bit sort of concerned me a bit more recently.
Why?
Just because of like where I've moved to now. The bloke who owns the other flats, he doesn't live in there.
Right.
So I've got to call him up and say stuff like, bins need emptying.
Right.
Well, basically though, I'm now, because I'm the one who owns it, he's made me, I'm basically a caretaker for the block. that's what I'm saying. On Tuesday I was outside putting a new switch on the wall, because it's got them switches that you push and you've got like, gives you 5 minutes before the lights go off.
Oh yeah.
And that was stuck on. And I don't like wasting energy because I've got to pay for that electric out there in the hallway.
Yeah. What do you mean it was stuck on? Well, it wasn't real.
No, he's stuck on.
No, it's stuck. He means it's stuck.
The thing that you push in,
stuck
it's
on
stuck in.
on mode.
Right. So the lights are on like all day. So I had to go out and buy a new one of them. 25 quid it was.
Really?
25 quid. I've changed that. Now, in a way...
So all that energy you saved by it going on and off was blown in one fell swoop by you having to pay 25 quid to replace it.
Exactly. Does anyone care? Does anyone notice? Don't know. But I feel like I'm doing my bit there. That's you know, that was just this week. God knows what other stuff I've done along the way. But just this week, and but I quite like it. I quite like having a like responsibility now. I've kind of got a little job. I said to you ages ago how I'd like to work at B&Q.
Yeah.
I like the idea of fixing things, helping people out. I've got to stay in all day tomorrow because I'm having the lock changed on the front door.
Yeah.
It's been my little job. I've got to stay in. He's coming between 1 and 3.
I don't know. I thought your job was washing up.
Yeah, but now we've got a dishwasher. That's sort of I've been made redundant from that game. So I've
goodbye plunger.
Suzanne said I'm getting a bit carried away because I keep putting up signs on the door to people saying things like, you know, make sure you don't hit the button too hard on the light switch.
Right.
Make sure the door's shut behind you. You know,
and is this in English language or Carl speak? All right. Don't be squashing it too hard, like, right?
Suzanne sort of said try and make him a bit more friendly because sometimes it's like you're shouting at him.
Well, like what? What do you say?
Just no sort of hello everyone or anything. It's just
all
do this, will you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And she told me.
Well,
to
he only
calm
writes
down.
in capitals. He didn't ever learn to write. He's never.
You're right. I've never seen him write anything other than
he doesn't
capitals.
write in small case, and he doesn't do joined up. Everything's in capitals.
I'm never in that much of a rush that I've got to do joined up writing.
You can't. Can you do joined up writing if you wanted to?
I don't think I've ever done it. I've never done joined up writing.
Can you write a sentence for me now that says, "Hello, my name is Carl Pilkington, and I'm writing this sentence in joined up writing"?
Go on, do it.
Please.
I'll stick it on the blog.
I've never...
Right. Oh. Jesus.
So what am I saying again?
Hello.
And you want me to try joined up?
Yeah.
Well, I want you to try joined up.
No, well,
right
I do. When I was taught...
Well, no, you haven't joined up one.
No,
There's
but
not
this
one
is how I was
joined
taught.
yet.
That's how I used to do it, like that, at school.
Joined up afterwards. That's amazing.
Listeners, he just wrote the word hello and then joined up the letters afterwards.
That's how we were taught to do it at school.
What's the point in that?
Just because it looks grown
Twice
up.
as long.
Imagine how long an essay would take going through.
I don't understand what the problem is here.
If you to make it easier, to make it even clearer, maybe cut out letters from a newspaper and stick them on.
Yeah, and then stick it, and then cut out lines from a paper and join the letters that way.
So yeah, that's been my job at the moment. But I'm just so I might get into the recycling thing. I might sort of get some of them bins outside.
Well, we've seen you're a fan of recycling. When you tell us about a mattress that was used more than once. That's an example of the quality of drivel you might be able to hear if you purchase the upcoming audiobook, the Ricky Gervais Guide to the Earth, possibly the final one. Well, goodbye from me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Bye.
And a good friend and colleague.
And don't forget the...
What?
No, I was just going to say the shape of the head.
Oh, the little round-headed twat that is Carl Pilkington, you must mean, Stephen.
That's correct.
All right.